How do we provide content that is going to help HR leaders, operations leaders, revenue leaders with the insights to be able to know whether or not they become a customer with time is limited? Here's what I can do in terms of workforce management to be able to have the most productive, the most engaged, and the highest satisfied employee base possible.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Business Ninjas. I'm happy to be here today with Evan James, Senior Vice President of Marketing of Time is Limited. That is Time is Ltd. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Andrew, and thanks so much for having me on the podcast.
Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a California boy, born and raised, and I have been working in the tech industry for coming up on over a decade now, and have been heavily focused on marketing for B2B tech companies throughout that time. Held roles in a number of different areas, and I'm currently the Senior Vice President of Marketing at Time is Limited.
Excellent. Tell us a little about Time is Limited.
Yeah, so Time is Limited is a collaboration analytics solution focused on the employee experience, engagement, and productivity. So what does that mean? We pull in kind of data across Salesforce, Gmail, Google Drive, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, etc. And we are able to paint a map of your digital ecosystem so you can understand things like how close is sales and marketing interacting. And more specifically, companies use us for a variety of different use cases. Some of them are for evaluating remote work versus hybrid work versus in-office work, and what are kind of the best collaboration ecosystems to set up, along with, are your meetings effective or ineffective? Everybody's been on some of those meetings where you wonder, why am I here? Well, we have the data to help showcase which of those meetings actually a lot of people feel that way about. And then lastly, we have kind of like an area of our business, which is really new and exciting, where we're focused on providing sales teams the insights to know what is the best collaboration behavior that they have both internally and externally that's going to lead in a greater amount of revenue, more closed new won business, along with retaining and upselling current customers.
Boy, that's an incredibly useful niche you guys are filling at the moment. What's the origin story of the company? Everybody loves an origin story. How did this company start?
So our founder and CEO, Jan Rizab, after having a successful kind of exit at his previous company, which was Social Bakers, now branded as Amplify, decided while he was like really building up that company, what he was seeing was that a lot of time was spent internally, where people were stuck in meetings, people were having to respond to emails and messages, and there wasn't enough time to actually get work done. And so he set out on a mission to really create a company that is going to provide employees with the best experience that they could have, but also allow them to really excel at what they do best, which is applying their expertise in their area of the business. And so that's what he set out to do. Began in 2016 and has been plugging along ever since and growing.
Any particular industry or niche you guys serve?
Yeah, so I mean, we work with companies across a wide variety of industries. I would say the industries that we have the most amount of clients are typically in technology, in finance, in food and bev, and then lastly, in the U.S. specifically, across kind of higher education, so universities.
And what makes your company stand out from your competition in this market?
Absolutely. I think it's kind of the way that we both ingest and then display the data. So we have a proprietary technology called a sociomap, which allows for the human to understand both more variables than you can through just a standard kind of chart. So basically what it does is it's a 3D map, and it shows both how close in proximity are two teams working together. So is marketing really interacting with sales most often, or is it interacting with product most often? But also the volume of that interaction. So you can see based on the height on the socio map, like, are they, yes, they're interacting closely, but what is the volume of meetings that they're having? What is the volume of emails that they're having, Slack messages, et cetera? And so that really, really helps companies be able to quickly understand, here's how our company actually works. Here are how our employees get work done. And here are the things that might be hindering collaboration. And how do we actually solve for those things?
Excellent. And how does your company generate revenue? Is this a subscription model, or what sort of?
So we are we're based on a subscription. We offer our services on a wide variety of levels. So we work with very large enterprises, such as Siemens, but we also work with smaller, medium-sized businesses, and we are actually on the verge of launching a self-serve product, which is very exciting.
Excellent. What value has content marketing had on your business?
Tremendous value. I would say content is a cornerstone of any marketing department, but especially within the B2B SaaS space. And so the way that we're utilizing content today is through a wide variety of different things, but everything from top of funnel to be able to get people initially associated with our brand. So we've been pushing out things through PR channels, also doing lots of blog posts and social media management. Then also, utilizing it to create more really interesting kind of premium content pieces that we display through ebooks or through webinars, which are used much more for engaging and converting a prospect so that they start to engage with us on a more meaningful level. And then finally, we use content throughout our kind of sales process to make sure that we're engaging with the prospect and really helping them go down and have the best customer journey that they could possibly have.
Excellent. I'd imagine that COVID has provided a unique opportunity for rapid growth for your company. Tell me about the last couple of years.
Absolutely. COVID has been really interesting, not just for our company, but for the entire world of really reevaluating and seeing how is work getting done. And so what we've seen is at the beginning of the pandemic, you actually saw productivity go way up. But you also saw simultaneously the hours extending, the number of meetings that people were thrown onto drastically increase. People were kind of multitasking. And so what that led to was eventually towards kind of the great resignation and people feeling burnt out. And today what we've seen is, and this is not just on Time is Limited data, but the New York Times and many others, the US Department of Labor put out statistics recently on kind of productivity going down. And so what we're really helping companies do is, how do you create those environments so that your employees are as productive as possible, but they're also feeling engaged in what they're doing? And so we've seen, as the pandemic has progressed, we've had a big uptick initially in kind of as companies started to want to come back into the office and things of that sort. What were the right hybrid ecosystems that they wanted to create? So we saw definitely a number of customers coming on from that perspective. And I'd say the current trend that we're seeing is really on, all right, we know generally how teams are working. Now, how do we make sure that we are removing any barriers of disengagement and putting up the right kind of ecosystems to have engaged, happy employees that are also having the time to do their work to the best of the ability so that they feel completely fulfilled and get at what they're doing?
Well, obviously, recruiting has never been more critical. You need people who don't need you over their shoulder. They don't need to be seen across the office working. They can be left to their own devices, and you have the metrics to show whether it's working or not. What's something that you would like to be celebrating personally or professionally 1 year from now?
Oh, excellent question. Something that, I would say from a professional perspective, I'm a huge believer in full funnel integrated campaigns. And throughout this year, we've really been able to hone in and hit that really hard of how do we have kind of the right message going through every area of the funnel. And putting that into some piece of really easy to understand content that's going to deliver value to the customer. Now, where I would love to get to the next year is, how do we become like a true empowerment brand? How do we provide content that is going to help HR leaders, operations leaders, revenue leaders with the insights to be able to know whether or not they become a customer with Time is Limited, here's what I can do in terms of workforce management to be able to have the most productive, the most engaged, and the highest satisfied employee base possible.
That's an excellent answer. Please tell the people what is your URL and how they can find you.
Absolutely. Our URL is timeisltd.com, and you can find us there. You can find us on social. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We definitely would appreciate if you followed us and engaged with our content. We're providing all sorts of insights and data on what's happening within the greater workforce ecosystem on a regular basis, along with more practical, tactical, useful content of how-tos on a wide variety of topics.
Evan James of Time is Limited, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today here on Business Ninjas.
Thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.